front gate and it'll be a piece of TNT that will blow up the ice. That too, yeah, because water temperature, and that's important for the animals. Whereas Kelvin only use Kelvin. Yeah, got it. But if you're dealing with people, use Fahrenheit. That makes sense. I get it. I understand. I understand the purposes. That's the threat, is I'm just gonna blow up the ice again and have you deal with that stuff. Yeah, because Fahrenheit is based on human body measurement, so it makes sense for that purpose. But I'm just the die-hard Celsius individual. I know Celsius, I get it. It makes sense. We assume it's metric because the two primary measurements are divisible by, well, 1, 0. 0 is a freezing point of water, and 100 is the boiling point of water. So we just make the extrapolation that it divides into 10. Oh yeah, if it's below 0 in America, it's gold. Whereas if I say it's below 30, it's gold. Right? If I say it's below 30, cold. Cold, yeah. In terms of Fahrenheit, it's cold. Trust me, it's cold. I promise. 0 is cold. That's very cold. Below 0 is very cold. Jesus Christ. No thanks. I like winter as much as the next person. No, I'm not dealing with -20. That's terrifying. Yes, of course it can, but in general. The general vibe. The general vibe is that it's about 32. No, 500. So, yeah. Larens are the most devoted followers, let's say worshippers, of, well, link to Bayadi, because I have a Bayadi article. Bayadi article. Their control over, and this is gonna be heart. Yeah, if it's almost 0 in Kelvin, oh shit. Their control over Barry's heart lends them, it grants them much prosperity, and they are among the tallest and most long-lived of the Duana. 98-degree temperatures. Yeah. 40 is a lot. 40 is a lot. 40 is 100. Yeah. 40 is not good. 30, 86. 86 is about the top end for me. 86 degrees Fahrenheit is where that's about where my pleasantness ends. My range is between 20 and 30, which is about 70 and 80. That-ish range. I'm like, that's the sweet spot of good temperature. Whether or not withstanding, obviously. Because if it's like 86 and wet, then it's disgusting. Or, 30 degrees and wet. It's just, it's why I don't go wet. It's humid, disgusting. Like, it's usually pretty good. Like, 30, like, that is bad. Like, think of, like, nice weather. Nice weather in 36. Minimum sun temperature. Saunas are different. They have different needs. Barbarians. You've got the next group is I'm just gonna call them sailors, but they're not sailors. They're called something different.
And we're live. Turn down my speakers so that I don't get echoing of the music. That should be good. How is everybody today? Is anybody here yet today? Let's see. Who do we got? Nobody. Cool. Oh, decisions on what to do today. We have several choices. The first thing we'll do is wait for somebody to join so that I don't end up talking over myself twice. I am live. Okay, good. Made that mistake once. So what to do today? There's one possibility. I think I'm going to start by taking a quick look at Synergasia, just to make sure. We haven't had anybody new sneak in on us. The We Need You article. Nope, Moonflower is still the last entry. Okay. Our prompts are all still here. That's a good thing. Really been that long since we did a news article? Oh, that's those. Okay. Things are getting busy though. And here come the Raiders. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I hope everyone is nice and ready for another day. Yeah, bad dad pun, I know. So how is everybody today? Isaac, thank you for another excellent stream. Always a good way for me to wake up in the morning and get ready for my own streams. Let's see, who do we have? Delian, good afternoon. Nakaro, good afternoon. DM, good afternoon. Agamemnon, I'm not sure where you're from, but I think you're US, so good morning. Day night, I'm not sure where you're from, so good choose a day slot. Makara will be lurking for a work meeting. That's always fun. Isaac, it's not quite good morning for you. I don't think it's past midnight there, is it? It's good evening anyway. Who else we got? That looks like about it. Yeah, good insert time zone here, exactly. Oh, that's right, you're Florida. I saw that at the very end of Isaac's stream too. I should have picked up on that. It is just past midnight for you. Yeah, Isaac, you have daylight savings time kicking in this coming weekend, do you not? Yeah. Are you going to make any adjustments to your streams, or are you going to just go with what you got? And we'll see what happens. I know the next couple of weeks, the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, are going to be a mess on the calendar because Australia starts the game and the U.S. ends the game, but sometime over the next 4 to 5 weeks, all parts of the world that deal with daylight savings time will be making their changeovers, and they're not all on the same weekend. Yeah, okay. I will tell you, come November, I'm pushing my start up an hour. So you don't have to start, you don't have to drag your extra hour in starting in November. But for October, I left things alone anyway for October. We'll see what happens. I noticed somebody on the Anvilite streamer channel talking about putting in some streams in the hour slot that's before my normal slot, but I don't know what days they're going to go. It's somebody I didn't recognize the name from World Anvil, so it might be somebody new. And then DM is always there to fill in a gap. DM is turning into the perpetual streamer. So yeah, like I said, for October I'm not changing anything, but for November I extended my streams from 2 hours to 3, and they will be sprint focused, in deference for all of the nano people, of which I am one. So an extra hour of forced writing is only going to help me. And we'll see what happens after November. I don't know if I'm going to go back to normal, or I'm toying with the idea of taking Hefe up on the Iron Gorge challenge for December or World Ember, and put at least an hour stream in every day. But we'll see how that works. I'll make a final decision on that sometime between now and mid-November. So let's see, DM, no worries, I am the Anvilite polyfiller, yeah. Yeah, I think the best we can all do for October is to just, we stream when we're comfortable streaming, and we'll see what it does to the calendar. DM, you're tempted by Iron Gorge, but not sure yet. You're kind of doing it now. You might as well. We have to show Hefe he's not the only strong man in the group. So. Oh, so anyway, I have no concrete idea for what I want to do on stream today, but I have a bunch of possibilities. I just did a quick look through Synergasia to make sure we didn't have any new people sneak in. I know there are 1 or 2 people that are still talking about getting in on the fun there, but nobody's pulled the trigger yet. So we don't have that. Tuesdays is my normal, just generic world building day. Nothing special. Well, when I say nothing special, I mean Sundays I try to focus on map related things, and Thursdays I try to focus on adventure related things. I leave Tuesdays for filling in all the gaps. Uh, let's catch the stream real quick. Let's see. Isaac may bump up streams a bit more during December, but not as far as Iron Gorge. DM is between jobs, so it's not like you're doing much else. Yeah, so it keeps you busy. That's good. Isaac won't have much going on either. Are you between? You're almost done with uni, right? With university, you're getting close. Is that final finish, like degree kind of finished, or just for the year finished? About to graduate, but probably not going to be able to get a job. Yeah, that's part of the times right now too. There's not a lot of hiring going on. But best of luck to you, and congratulations in advance on the degree. You'll have to let us know when graduation day is. We'll have a little mini online celebration for you. So anyway, what to do today? I've got a couple of things that I could focus on. Mikaro just turned serial killer, like all good Aussies. Uh-huh. First up, I've been toying with the idea since a lot of people are getting into the Halloween spirit and are planning little special events for Halloween. I've been toying with the idea of running, and I have no idea when I'd schedule it. It wouldn't be one of my normal, I don't think it would be one of the normal streams, but who knows. I've been thinking of trying to schedule a one-off adventure roleplay session with hopefully four or five other Anvilites who would like to take a stab at running a first level adventure in my world. It's actually one of the adventures that I've put my playtesters through already. It is suitably Halloween themed, I think. And I would just run it as a one-off. I would provide, basically I'm going to load up all of the, I have 15 characters from my various playtest groups. I was going to basically just load those all up, make them available as pre-gen characters for anybody that was interested. And I was starting to work on an invitation article to get more interest. I know I have 2 people already who expressed interest. DM, you're one of them. And Moonflower has also expressed interest. Again, I have no idea what I'm going to hold off on scheduling until we see who's involved, and try to make it as convenient as possible for everybody that would do it. So here's a bit of a plug. Let me see, what does this thing even look like now? A fun way of celebrating Halloween week within the World Anvil community. I thought I would take a stab at running a live stream session of an adventure in the world of Cartyrion. So consider this an invitation. I've already got 2 ASC folks who have expressed interest. I'm looking for 3 more. This will be a one-shot adventure taking 3 to 4 hours to complete if everybody stays focused. My intention is to stream it, preferably with all participants on camera in a Zoom session that I'll then stream out live on Twitch. Now, that's not mandatory, but it would be fun. I don't know what time or day, other than sometime in the week before Halloween. It will definitely not be on Halloween itself. I'll work out those details once I know who the players are. 5 players would be ideal, 4 will do. I will have 15 pre-generated characters. I'm stealing the 15 from my playtest groups. So nobody has to worry about building a character. All classes and races from the Pathfinder 2nd Edition core rulebook are represented. No advanced player guide options right for this. We're keeping it simple. I will let the players select from the list in the order that they've applied to play. If time permits, I may try to get a Foundry environment up and running for this, or we may use the Roll20 setup that I've already got, or we could just go Theater of the Mind and do it without a VTT. Again, we'll work that out with the individuals once we have them. The World Anvil campaign management system will be used in any event, at least for handouts and character sheets. The adventure we'll be running is one I've already run, as I said, through my playtest groups. You'll get a chance to see the cleaned up version. It is intended to introduce players old and new to a whole new world. The Unfortunate Traveler is designed to not only get players started in the world, but also become familiar with the basic and often used mechanics in the Pathfinder 2nd Edition system. So if you're not familiar with that system, don't let that stop you. That's an important bit. And because we are all in such disparate time zones, it may be that a finally decided time won't work for somebody. So anybody that expresses interest will be put on a list in order that I get your contact. I'll go down that list in order if times don't work out for somebody. What I'm going to do basically is clean this invitation up a little bit, post it on. I'll take anybody who says they're interested now. I'll throw you on the list now. But other than that, I'm going to take this, throw it up on one of the World Anvil Discord sites with a request that you just reply, comment in here, and I'll take your comments in order. When I do that, just again for DM and Moonflower, you're already at the top of the list. I'll even put a little note in here. You don't have to do the comment. I will put in the first two comments to kind of placehold for DM Stretch and Moonflower, so that everybody sees that you guys are in. We'll go from there. Like I said, if anybody else wants to jump into the list early now, we can do that. What are we talking about in chat? Let's see. Okay, we're still talking about serial killers, but we've changed our spelling. Isaac Tom, I'll make my horse-stealing ancestors proud. Oh. Isaac says, interesting. Tillers is here. Good morning, or afternoon rather, Tillers. Macaro is having fun at work. Okay, how does that work? I renamed my front-end fields to match his back-end names, but he renamed his back-end fields to match my front-end names. So does that mean you now have two sets of identical names and there's confusion? And so anyway, like I said, the first thing I might do is just clean this up a little bit and get this posted out on World Anvil so we can get started. Ideally, I'd like to know, by mid-October who's involved, so we can work out schedule and that sort of thing. And also whether or not there's interest in trying the Foundry thing. I think this week I'm going to finally pull the trigger on picking up Foundry VTT and seeing how good the integration is. I've been watching a lot of Harold's Table. He is right now apparently one of the Foundry masters. He's very, very heavily invested in Foundry and integrating it with World Anvil. Again, those of you who are interested in or looking in or hoping for Project Deos, Foundry is one of the participants, as of course is World Anvil. So there's already some pretty good integration, and I expect it will only get better over time. And Dungeon Fog is involved in that too, so that should be fun. So like I said, I might just get this article done first. After that, I'm not quite sure what I want to work on. I've got two big writing efforts that I know are coming down the line, but I don't want to jump the gun on them because I have one of them kind of reserved for Nano, and the other one kind of reserved for World Ember. So I'm kind of hamstrung there. I could do a little planning for them, but it would only be very high-level organization, and I'm not quite sure how interesting or fun that would be. And then what else do I have to work on? I have a little bit of Synergasia work I can do. I can start to pre-write the next prompt. Those of you who are participants would get a sneak peek at it and know it's coming, but that won't get published until Thursday. I can also write. I need to write a missing persons article for the Synergasia newspaper. Last Thursday I published prompt 4, and on Friday prompt 4 disappeared. We're not sure where it went. We suspect somebody accidentally moved it to their own private world, but so far we've seen no sign of it on Synergasia. My edit links don't work, and I've been told that my archival edit links not working is an indication that it's been moved and not deleted. But we'll see. Nobody's really sure how that works anyway. I have since replaced it, so we have put up a substitute. So as not to delay things for anybody who's interested and ready to go. But it would be interesting to know what happened to the original, just so that we all know what happened and what we might have to be careful about in the future. Isaac might test it out to see if you can figure out if you were right about the archive. Yeah, that might be an interesting experiment. Tillers is just sipping coffee. That's your coffee duck icon, right? Yes, I think so. So like I said, I might be working on a bunch of little odds and ends. What are you folks doing this morning? Because all the streams are your streams more than they are mine, but this one more so than others because I really don't have a concrete thing I need to get finished today. So what are you guys looking for today? Delian doing sleepless mapping. That sounds interesting. Didn't get any sleep last night? Oh, I popped onto my Classic Kings game that I have going yesterday. I'm still trying to have Ireland take over the world, by the way. I'm back to having Ireland try to take over the world, I should say, after giving up on an interesting run where I started in Sweden, and ended up after a couple of catastrophic inheritances. I ended up occupying one county in the middle of France, and that was all that was left of Sweden. And I figured just to see how the game ends, because I had that one running Iron Man, I just set the speed to 5 and stopped responding to anything just to see how long it would take somebody to overrun me. And it's run for 150 years and everybody's leaving me alone. So, so I still haven't seen an end to that game, which I thought was very curious. Isaac, Cornwall here rules the waves. DM installed Crusader Kings, but have yet to play it. Yeah, it is addictive, I will warn you, and the learning curve. It's not like it's going to look complicated at first. If you played Classic Kings 2, everybody says that this one is actually easier to learn than 2 was. If you've never played any of the Classic Kings, follow the tutorial. You will quickly discover that the tutorial teaches you about a quarter of what you actually need to know. Everything in the tutorial is useful, but it's not nearly enough. You will think you're getting the hang of it for about the first 45 or 50 hours of gameplay, but you'll also realize that there's still a lot of intricacies that you need to be more familiar with in order to get really good at it. So it is definitely a long haul game. The good news is that you'll get your money's worth if you stick with it. A new update dropped today, which fixed a ton of stuff, and art changes. Oh, okay, I'll have to look into that. See, since it was free, I was like, I'll try it. Hit a brick wall. Now, just to wait for a CK. Yeah. You have to look for the sales. Dealin, you played CK2 a lot. Okay. Yes, you did. I haven't broken the 100-hour mark yet, by the way, but I'm getting close in CK3. So, I still haven't seen. Have I seen any answers? Anybody? Does anybody have anything in particular they would like to be working on or like to see me work on? Or have any questions that I might be able to help answer today? Is anybody still working on their Alliance articles? Yeah, Delian, I'm not going to catch. I'm definitely not going to catch you, at least not for a long time. I guess on other gaming fronts, I should be proud to announce I've got my I've got the above ground portion of my Minecraft base pretty much laid out. I still have some terraforming to do around it, but I have the nice simple little stone and log chateau that's above ground. Now I have to start building the underground complex beneath it. So that's been fun. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in a mountain biome and I can't find diamonds. I keep finding emeralds. Which when they first introduced emeralds, that was a really, really great find. But then they introduced villagers, and emeralds eventually are a dime a dozen. So there's nothing special about finding emeralds, except every time you find an emerald ore, you realize that could have been diamonds. Your friend finally gave in and bought you a server. Now 3 of you are going wild. Excellent. Yeah, I caught a bit of your stream on Saturday, and there were definitely some shenanigans going on Saturday. Something about you stealing diamonds from people, but they were diamonds that you were owed, so it wasn't really stealing. All right, so let's see. I've been rambling on for half an hour already. So let's try to get some work done. Is there anything else that this article needs besides some simple cleanup for my invitation? What else would people want to know? I think this is good enough to start. And the Diamond Mafia came knocking. They promised me the diamonds, my precious. It was my birthday. Yes, I see a little bit of cleanup work I need to do in this thing, so maybe I'll do that. So what about everybody else over there? Do you guys, anybody need a sprint? I'll be happy to offer up a sprint. By the way, I'm assuming that the music and volumes for everything are okay. I keep throwing into the yellow a little bit. I hope I'm not distorting too badly. Other than the voice cracking, that's not my microphone though. Isaac Thompson and the Diamond Thief. Yeah, there's a story somebody can write. You could use a sprint to try to finish up the Duanum article. Alright, well, I tell you what, I'll throw a 10-minute sprint on. That'll be enough for me to finish cleaning up this article, and we'll see what happens from there. So those of you that are writing, uh, get ready. Those of you who are listening, the music will get a little louder, I think, although there's no promises. My microphone will definitely get quieter. And this will be a 10-minute sprint, and we will start it in 3, 2, 1, and go. it, and time is up. Just in time. So how did we do? Did you get anything else done, Isaac? Let's see what I got on this now. I think that pretty much sums it up. I just cleaned up a little bit of the rambling I had back and forth here. What did that do? Brought something up for a second. What was that? Because there's no link there. Oh. I see. One more quick change I want to make. I could play this with as many as 6, so let's just say a few more. Let's not put a hard number on it. I think that will do, and like I said, I will post this. I'm gonna basically make this public, put it up on my world. I will actually pop it as a feature, so anybody following the world will see it too. I will put a link in one of the Anvilite, in the Anvilite Streamer Core channel. And we'll see what happens. As soon as I put the link up, as soon as I put the article up, I will actually, I'll actually go in, and I can even do that right now. I can put this comment right in here now. So that would do for that, I think. That'll tell people, again, that'll let you people know that, let everybody else know that you two are in. Like I said, last chance. Is anybody else want to jump in before I publish? If not, we'll see what happens. I should put a date, some sort of drop dead date on this though, just so I have time to plan everything at the end. So what do we say to... let's see, what does October look like? We could play as early as the 25th. Like I said, I'm going to leave that whole week. Oh, you guys can't see it because the chat's in the way. Can I move that? I can't move that. Oh well. So let's say... sign-ups through the 17th of October. I'll put that right on the bottom line. don't have to say that. Let's just leave it at that for now. Oh, not to throw too much information. That should do. Alright, we'll see what happens with this. Let's see. We will feature it. Definitely allow comments, but that's already checked. I do not need to see it in my table of contents, though. You know what? Actually, I will. Let's leave it there. And I need to undraft it. It is now published. It is now public. I will notify followers. That's all changed. That's all saved now, right? Yeah. I will notify followers. Might as well just do this now, right? See. I need to, let's see who we have. Oh, we have my jumping dog today. That's Gracie Allen, by the way. Let me just get Discord up real quick. And we'll put it in the Streamer Core section. Okay, so that's done. Dazzly Cat, how you doing? Welcome. All right, so that's all done. We'll see what kind of response I get from that. Okay. Now, I was looking, by the way, just as a quick advance. This is Halloween week, the week leading up to Halloween on the Anvilite calendar. So, whenever, assuming this thing does go off, it is not going to be possible to pick a time that doesn't overlap with someone or something else. So I guess in one sense that's good because it means I don't have to worry about it at all. You know, we'll just find a time that's convenient for everybody that's actually playing, and we'll let everyone know what's happening. And if people want to come and watch, they're welcome to come and watch. It should be fun, though. As you can see, though, we do have a busy schedule for that week. Now, again, this doesn't have Isaac. If you're going to make some adjustments to your calendar, some of the top end of this is going to change a little. But you'll see that I have this is my time zone's view. So you'll see that I'm still starting at my 10 o'clock, but because Isaac has gone into daylight savings time, their their stream is an hour off from where it used to be. And in fact, now you precede morning marches instead of half follow it. So let's see. Did I miss anything else, by the way, in the chat? No. Just Dazzly Cat arriving. How's it going? In between work. Your own branded face mask arrived. Yes, DM Stretch, by the way, has become the king of merch. If anybody's looking for a cool new coffee mug or a cool new pair of socks, definitely hop over to DM if you want to pop up the links to your merch channels. I'll let you do that. Anything. I'm actually toying with the idea. That was one of the questions I was going to ask today. Is would people like a or be interested in something like a Dinosaur Bob coffee mug that would have the logo from up there, and I'm toying with the idea of a limited edition House Sauropoda coffee mug, which might be interesting. Start a special collector's edition. So yeah, DM, just throw up your merch links, and if anybody's interested, you can go help out DM. We're not competing, so. Here's the next question from the other people out there that are streamers. Should I adopt the new Anvilite Streamer Core logo, or should I leave the one I've got? There's a question for everybody. What do we think? Do we evolve and get modern, or do we or do we stick with the traditional? Nobody's very talkative today. Either that or there's lots of lag out there. Yeah, if you look through one of the links that I assume DM is going to put up is for Teespring. You can get DM Stretch socks. You can get DM Stretch all kinds of interesting and weird stuff. Yeah, I sized them to be the same. I could do the same thing with the new one, so that's not really a problem. Isaac. Delian suggests an upgrade. It would be consistent with the others who have it up. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking to see. I notice slowly but surely everybody seems to be moving over. I think since the motto of House Sauropoda is to evolve, I kind of feel like I have to upgrade. So maybe I will get around to that one of these days. Okay, there's the DM Stretch. Let's see. Yeah, he's got 3. Yeah, Redbubble, Streamlabs, and Teespring. So if anybody's looking for interesting things, there's some interesting price differences across them, by the way. And anybody who's looking to get some interesting stuff to help a fellow streamer, there you go. Isaac still needs to add the badge. I'm going to leave that for when you make an overlay that's good. Yes, eventually the dino will evolve into the Cornish chicken. Yeah, I mentioned to Chrysalia, by the way, that in week 1, I've already pledged week 1 to Danny's house Apis with a P, the bee house. But I was talking to Chrysalia, and I told her that assuming we all survive, I will probably switch my allegiance to House Avis with a V in week 2. Since, after all, birds are nothing more than evolved dinosaurs. So, Oh, DM has adjusted the prices. I see that special sales available now, guys. Uh, so let's see. You got your fingers stuck by a hornet, so keep me away. Did you get stung on stream yesterday? By the way, I was kind of lurking and half paying attention, and I caught you talking about attacking some sort of flying armored insect or sword-bearing insect. I believe you were referring to it as. Oh, it was on Friday night. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, yesterday it was Dad with the leaf blower, right? Where everybody's watching Dealey, and it's nice and quiet, and he's got nice mellow music, and he's playing with his happy trees, and all of a sudden, his father starts up a gas-powered leaf blower right outside his window. It got you through a towel. Yeah, well, they have those stingers are long. I didn't even know we had one. Yeah, and that definitely sounded like a gas-powered one, not an electric one. They're the real good power ones, or petrol power. I don't know. Do you call it petrol in Estonia? Is it petrol or yeah? It's only gas. It's only gasoline in the U.S. I think. So, darn leaf blowers. You want an interesting? And here's an interesting story talking about leaf blowers though, and how they sneak up on people. In the 1980s, I had a couple of opportunities to spend a fair amount of time in England for work. And on one of them, one of the trips, I was over we were installing software. I worked for a large bank. For one of them, I managed to sync up my vacation with the end of the installation trip. And at the end of the installation period, my wife came over. You know, she flew over, and we had reserved a bed and breakfast, actually a couple of bed and breakfasts around, and we spent 2 weeks, doing a little bit of the touristy stuff, not just in London but beyond. And one of the tourist spots that we both really, really, really wanted to see, of course, was Stonehenge. So we booked ourselves onto one of the tour things that leave out of the London area. We were up at something like 6 o'clock in the morning to get on the bus, because the bus, I don't remember what time it actually left, but the bus was arriving at the site at 7:30 in the morning. So those of you who've been there and have done the tour thing will know, but the parking areas for the bus are a couple hundred yards away from, and on the other side of a hill of the monument itself. So the bus gets there, and we all get out, and it's a beautiful morning. It's calm. It's quiet. All right. It's only 7:30, and as we all walked, the path and over the hill and got to where you first see it, it's like, the hush comes over the crowd. All right, so everybody's just whispering and murmuring and really getting into the moment of wow, this thing is thousands of years old, and it's been here, blah, blah. So there's a walkway kind of around the whole monument, so that you can kind of walk around the circle and see it from all angles. And just as we get to that, to the circular area, so we're as close as we're going to get to it. All right, and we're starting to take it all in, and like I said, it's quiet, it's hushed. The atmosphere was good spooky, if you know what I mean. Until the maintenance guy who was there fired up the string trimmer. Every photo I have of Stonehenge includes a maintenance guy with a string trimmer who was cleaning up the grass around the stones. And for the entire rest of the hour plus that we were there, um, the only sound you could hear consistently was the sound of the buzzing string trimmer. So that's my trip to Stonehenge. You know, it still brings laughs. Did someone get bagpipes out? No, string trimmers, not bagpipes. Bagpipes would have worked. Bagpipes on one of the hills, like one of the nearby hills, would have been absolutely perfect. But no, I got a guy in a maintenance jumpsuit and a string trimmer. So so much for that trip. Okay, so anyway, like I said, we got a pretty full calendar for Halloween week. I'm just curious, what does this look like the week after that? Yeah, see now all the nano streams start in, and it gets really really busy. And why is this not showing my streams stretched out for 3 hours? Because my stream should be 3 hours long. Oh, they are 3 hours. Oh no, that's right. That's why. I know why. Because, and this is a trick for everybody else. If you're used to looking at this thing in your time zone adjusted, when you get to the point where your time zone changes, you need to come back here and reload it to the new time zone. So there I am, 9 to 12 rather, my time on November 1st, the 3rd, and on the Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You can see there are a lot of other nano streams. So we have a pretty busy couple of months on the calendar. Is there like no gaps? There are no gaps. There's a gap. There's one little gap on Monday. Delian, or rather DM, jump in, grab that. Is that the only gap on this entire calendar? There's a half-hour gap on Saturday night, or my Saturday night. Anyway, this is 7:30 p.m. my time, so that's what, about 12:30. That'll be 12:30 British time, 12:30 a.m. British time for half an hour. Couple of little gaps up here on Friday and Saturday, but other than that, we got a busy calendar. So we'll have to see how that ends up working out. Okay. They've cordoned it all off. I was there. It was, like I said, it was about 7:30 in the morning, and this was in 1980. I want to say 86 or 87. I don't remember exactly. It was either 86 or 87. Might have been 88, but it was definitely one of those three. You couldn't get it among the stones then. There was, like I said, there was a walkway around the outside that you were maybe 20 or 30 yards away from the nearest stones. At least the primary stones. I know there are a few stones that go way out beyond the main circle, but DM, you're doing your gaming. I know you're going every week. You're doing something every day during that. As far as what day or time I'm doing my game, I have no idea. That'll depend on Once I have a list of potential players, we'll start asking okay, what time works for people. I expect that to end up being messy. We're gonna, I'm gonna get five sets of times that don't overlap, and what I'll do is try to find the best one. And if that doesn't work for somebody and they really can't do it that time, then we'll have to pass them down and move on to the next person on the list if there are more people on the list. So like I said, that's why I put a 2-week gap in there so that I'll have some time to actually plan when the stream is. I'm not worried about, like I said, also I'm not really worried about overlap. Obviously, if we're picking a time that overlaps with one of the players, then you'll have to decide whether to drop out or whether this becomes your stream for that period or whatever. We might be able to even work things like that out too. I don't know. I have no idea how that works. If two people are co-streaming, I don't know if that can even be done. I mean, it can certainly be done with something like auto hosting, but one of us could host the others and then participate that way. But but we'll work those details out in a couple of weeks. Okay, what to work on next? A few people suggested that I start working on the next Synergasia prompt. I could do that. Does anybody here have any questions or about anything in general? By the way, how things work, how to do something in World Anvil? Maybe I can help. How to any GM questions? There's a caffeinate and a hydrate. And a sit up straight. Isaac would like a sneak peek of the next prompt. Okay, I can start working on the next prompt article. It will stay in draft mode. Of course, the interesting thing is inside Synergasia, even if something's in draft mode, the 15 participants who are all editors can probably still see them. I don't think being in draft mode blocks your vision of it until it goes live. But while it's live, while it's still in draft mode, it is considered. It's technically not published, but yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah. All right, but we'll do that. I can work on that. Like I said, I know what the next prompt is going to be, and it's going to be an interesting one. I'll leave the title for the moment. Right. There's no ways to hide articles from us. Do you folks want another sprint, or do you want to just watch me type and talk at the same time? How about we do another sprint? Let's do another sprint. Okay, so we're going to fire... Oh, let's see, wait. DM stretch. You did post a GM question ages ago. Oh, where is it? Let's see. You're asking it again here. For a dungeon, your one-shot map, how much do you plan for each room? Do I write down a description? All right, before I answer that, let me preface it by saying I like personally to have a script. I grew up, I learned, my first couple of Dungeon Master experiences were running canned modules, and I found the layout and format and structure of the canned modules, and we're going back into the late 80s here, to be very, very helpful. All right, and by that structure, in fact, you know what? I'll show you what I mean. because I'm writing some of them now this way, and this will help answer your question. If I come back to this world, and let's take this one, and let us view it. Okay, so this is an example of what I'm doing now. The preface that I wanted to throw on here is, again, my intent is to actually publish these things. So my short answer is I have to prepare a description of each room and include some narrative as to what's going on. So my short answer is yes, I will write down a description of each room that the players might go into. But the main reason I'm doing it is because my hope is that it will be some other DM who is picking up a printed version of this adventure to run it. And since they don't know what was in my head when I created things, I need to write it down so that they have it handy. Now, as far as room descriptions, there aren't going to be many of them here because this is an outdoors adventure, but I'll show you basically what I do. And this, by the way, there's still a lot of formatting that needs to be done, or a lot of CSS type stuff that gets done here. But generally, what I will prepare, and I've done this, like I said, even when I am running myself, so that I don't have to keep remembering and unfortunately misremembering what I had in mind for things. I will write these things down as if I were publishing them, even if I weren't. But I put together a let's call it a script, and that script will include and anything that's in normal text, like this scene picks up. These are, let's call them stage directions. They're for the DM to know what's going on and be able to direct the action. And the things in the boxes are things that I will actually read to the players at the appropriate time. So in this case, again, this is a pickup after the party is gone a little ways, and again, I will read the this chunk to them. And one of the advantages of having that stuff printed out and ready to read is it gives me the chance, while I'm thinking about it, to include some of the flavor stuff. Like you'll see I'm talking here about, the atmosphere is warm and heavy, you hear the buzzing of insects, the kind of mood setting descriptions that you tend to forget if you're trying to wing it. Now, the same thing would definitely be true of a room description. If you do write it down, you'll be able to include little features like, the undisturbed dust in the room, or, any odd smell, the smell of decaying paper from a library, or, or whatever. And the more of that you actually give to your players, the more immersed they'll get. So yes, I would suggest you do write down the description for each room. Keep it simple. There's two choices. You can either keep it like bullet point for yourself if you want to just kind of wing it, and if you're comfortable winging the description when the players go in, or you can, like I do, kind of script out a little blurb. Okay, you open the door and this is what you see and smell and hear, and and as you step in and look around, you see blah 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 blah. You can put whatever hints in your description that way, and again, you have time to think about them, and you don't have to worry about giving away too much because you've scripted it. By doing all that thinking up front, it makes you a little safer. Now, beyond that, I would include, now this is an interesting one because this is a combat, and Again, because I'm planning this for publication, um, I have to deal with the possibility of multiple party sizes. I'm not writing for an adventure group that I know exists, and in fact, my playtesters, I've got a party of 4, a party of 5, and a party of 6. And in this case, the number of bad guys in this encounter actually changes, so the description had to change a little bit. But then the next thing I will do, and again for each room or for each encounter, and this would be, yeah, it's a lot of writing, but you'll see the things I'm doing here. And again, this is partly because I'm doing this, for the next DM who runs this adventure and not for myself. But I will include now notes on the important features of the room that I didn't give the party verbally. What can they, and try to anticipate what they're going to do. So, if they want to search the room, have them do X, Y, Z, and maybe, if there is something hidden for them to find, make notes for yourself on what rolls they need to make, and what DCs or what challenge ratings or whatever it happens to be for your game system. What target they need in order to actually succeed in a search, or in a or a detect magic. That's another one, and again, that one varies by by game system. If somebody does a detect magic, what will happen? What will they see if they do? In Pathfinder, detect magic will simply tell you, yes, there's magic in the room. It won't tell you where it is. It won't tell you what item it is. It just says there's magic within X feet of me. Then they have to start using a more focused attempt at something called Read Aura, which will actually identify, oh, that book is magical, and it has this type of magic or something. So all of those notes I'll put out. And in the case of a combat encounter, I will actually plan out a general strategy for how the combatants, how the the monster combatants will conduct the fight, so that again you're not winging that on the fly. Now, of course, other than a general strategy, you're going to be subject to whatever the party does. But like in this one, for example, all right, this is the first time this party is going to be seeing these particular kinds of creatures. So the first thing that they might want to do is a recall knowledge check to see if they even know what it is that they're facing. And if they succeed, what will they learn? All right, so again, I have all of that kind of laid out so that I'm not making it up on the fly. It makes the game flow run a lot faster. They could try to talk to these guys, or they could get into a fight. This particular one, they can try to talk, but they're going to end up in a fight anyway. And I will actually now include, again, from my own notes, just a general idea of how these guys are going to approach the fight. They happen to have ranged weapons, and there's several of them. And they have a particular attack form that lets them be good at pulling apart a party that tries to stick together. So that's, those are their strengths, so that's what they're going to play to. All right, and then, possible aftermaths, and this is where I'll start, including again, if they have any loot on them, what is it? And again, here, you see at the end, detect magic will tell them that there's something there, but they won't know exactly what. They can get more detailed before they finally figure out what it is that they found. So again, this is the kind of thing I've written. Now, again, the stat blocks are in here too, so that this thing can be all self-contained. So that's me, but again, since I'm writing for publication, I have no choice but to do this. But yeah, I would suggest you do it. Maybe not to this extent, and it doesn't have to be as pretty if you're the only one that's ever going to read it. But it helps. It helps with, like I said, it helps with game flow because it gives you the chance, to in the calm, quiet time to actually think about all the things you want the party to see and smell and taste and hear. And by having them written down, you won't forget them when game time comes, and and people are doing all kinds of things around the table, or whether it's virtual or whatever. So there's my suggestion. So yes, 22 rooms and 4 corridors. You got a lot of writing to do. Yeah. Now you don't need to. By the way, this is where actually Danny gave me a really good idea that I need to start looking into. A floating table of contents that would, if you're using World Anvil, for example, like if you were to build a description into World Anvil similar to this, a floating table of contents that stayed static on the sidebar while you scrolled up and down through the thing, and headers that match your 22 room names or room numbers, would make for a very, very good DM tool. So that if they move from room 16 and the next thing they do is jump into room 4, you don't even have to hunt your way through a long article. You can pop over to a table of contents and click on something and jump right to it. So that's yet another way that World Anvil can be handy. By the way, if I take this thing, if I view this in campaign mode, I'm not going to bring it up now. The formatting is actually a little better looking in campaign mode, but that's again because I haven't played with the formatting for what I want my adventures to look like. Like right now, this panel is text, is narrative text, as is this one. Some of these other things, like right now, there's no panels around these. There will be, but they're not going to be the same as the other panels. And what I'd also like to do is on the sidebar, I want to make use of the sidebar, and the trick is going to be keeping things lined up right. Any place where I can come up with a tip for a new DM, for somebody who's just starting out as a DM, I want to put little tips and tricks, off on the side, for that benefit. You could put them all. You could pop them all in spoilers so that it would be condensed. Like I said, either that or something like a floating table of contents so that you can quickly pop around to it. But actually, the spoilers is not a bad idea. Or secrets. You're a grandmaster now, so you can play with the secret system and the spoiler system. If you're looking at the article, you'll see the box for the secrets. The other people simply won't. So yeah, that's another way that you can keep things condensed. A lot of it depends again on where you're doing this and who's watching. So, all right. So where were we? We were going to go to Synergasia. And start working on prompt 5. Okay. You know what? Oh, damn. I'm going to take a very, very short break. I have to deal with something that I was hoping would wait until after, but it's not going to wait. My phone has been buzzing off the hook, by the way, for most of this thing. I'm going to take, like I said, a very, very short break. I will be back very shortly. And when I get back, I'm going to launch a sprint and see if I can knock off this prompt. So there'll be one less thing for me to worry about on Thursday. So don't go away. I will be right back. See you in a few. I'm sorry about that, but we're back. DM, actually, something occurred to me while I was gone. Another possibility for you. And again, this depends a lot on how much of World Anvil you're using during your game session. But your other possibility for organization, rather than putting everything into one article. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I guess you can. Yeah. Rather than putting everything into one article, you could set up each room description in a little mini article, either a location or even a generic. You'd still probably want to hide things with secrets in case your players have any access to your world. But what you could then do, because you have a nice map, and if you pop that map up into, I don't want to be in Synergasia for this. I don't have a perfect example of this, but I can demonstrate the concept. If you load your map into the map system and pop it up either in presentation mode or whatever, presentation mode works beautifully for this. Then as the players get to a room, you can basically just click on the room on your map and have the description pop up alongside, and that way you can just work the map, and navigation now becomes a non-problem. Now obviously I don't have anything in these articles. These are the text you see here is actually the descriptive text that's on the pin themselves. But the beauty of this, especially for dungeon rooms, is you can actually describe the you can actually sync the pins up to the shape of the rooms, so that as you just hover your mouse anywhere over your map, and if you click on one of your rooms, that room description will pop up. And again, since you can keep it in the secrets. Since you're the one writing it, you'd see the secrets. But anybody else that picked up the article or looked at the article wouldn't be able to see anything. So that's another possibility for you. So let's see, the whole article is private. 2,700 words for this room description. Yeah, so I mean, you can continue to add it into the large one, but you might want to think about breaking things out into the smaller bits, and actually tying it to the map, so that way, as the party moves around their map, you can just click on the map and do things. Again, a lot of it depends on how much of this is just for you and how much of it you're sharing with the party. So that's a possibility. I assume DM is still here, by the way. He didn't say he was leaving. So. What else is going on? Oh, Makaro is back from work. Holds bleeding finger. What did you do? You're working in the kitchen. Yeah, that'll hurt. I won't read that out in gory detail, but okay. So I promised prompt 5 because Isaac wants to know. So let's get ready for prompt 5. let's get ready for a 10-minute sprint. And we'll see you on the other side in 3, 2, 1, and go. is up. And time is up. Okay. So there you go. Yes, Isaac, you got your sneak peek. This will be a BBEG prompt. And again, you get the benefit of hearing me talk about it now briefly. I'm not necessarily asking everybody to identify a single evil mage, rival king, etc. It's the question really is about what is going to be the other side of whatever conflict you plan on writing about eventually in your world. Because whether you're building your world for adventuring or for creative writing or even just for the sake of building, you're gonna need to work a conflict in there somewhere. So this will give you a chance to think about it. Now, your BBEG may be somebody in the past. They might have been defeated, but are there remnants left? Again, there's a lot of. If you were following through, I'm not going to read it all right now, but there's a lot of fringe stuff, and it doesn't have to be a person. It could be Isaac, just as an example in your world. What if the volcano? What if that long dormant volcano that holds the gem suddenly starts showing signs of life? The mountain, the world itself could become your big bad evil guy, because now the people who rely on the magic of that crystal need to preserve the crystal. It's just natural forces acting against them, but that's your thing. That's just a straight up apocalypse. Well, if it actually blows, yes. But until it blows, what are the people going to do about it? Are they going to just sit there and wait for it to happen, or are they going to try to do something? So, like I said, just as an example, that's a threat potential. So all the different regions are going to have different ones. Makaro, what happens if your borders are invaded by the horrible, evil Victorian Gothic horror things that surround you on both sides? Makaro looks at the prompt conventionalists. So yeah, and again, like all of these prompts, you might have a simple straight answer for these things. It might, if you really don't plan on having conflict and you're really just describing a nice utopian society, you can scale it back, to just what and de-animate it as much as you like. You might be writing about a utopian society, for example, where the quote unquote BBEG are just undesirable, either undesirable attitudes or even undesirable tendencies. Can you get too lazy in an ideal world where everything is given to you? Can you get too, whatever? So there's a lot of different, the point is for this one especially, and I will be rewording it a little to focus on this. The point is to define big bad evil guy however you want to for your region, and then go with it. We use the term BBEG, especially in role-playing games, just to refer to the main conflict. It doesn't have to be a person. So let's see. Would an organization count? Oh yeah, absolutely. It could be an organization. It could be a consortium of organizations. It could be, again, you're building multiple countries in your region. If you're going to focus on one country, are there other countries or even an alliance of countries that become the threat? It could be ethnic, cultural instead of political. again, it's what causes the what are you going to where are you going to draw your conflict from? Your main conflict, as opposed to any little petty things that might be going on. It could be a church. It could be, or a religion. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different ways to play it. And like I said, before I release this, I will play around with the wording a little to make it more clear that I'm not necessarily asking, for example, to describe in detail the head of your rival religion, or of the bad guy religion, if the religion itself is what the threat is. Because if the religion itself is the threat, then dealing with the head isn't going to make the problem go away. All right, unless the religion is a dedicated cult, devoted to the one person, and they would dry up or disappear if that, for just again, in a real world example, assassinating the Pope doesn't make Catholics go away. All right, they're going to just elect another one, and they're still there. All right, and in fact, possibly more trouble than they were before. So yeah, I mean, it's the point is to focus on your conflict source, and you don't have to completely resolve it either. And that's the other thing that I'll make sure gets clearly included in here. I'm not asking you to resolve any conflict, or even set it up in excruciating detail, but just to identify where that source is likely to come from in the future. So, yeah, lesson noted: don't assassinate the Pope. Yeah, I don't know if Delian is still around, but there was actually a discussion in the CK3 Reddit about making the Crusades themselves go away from the classic Kings game by just constantly assassinating the Pope, and everybody's comment was simply, there's really no point, because the instant you assassinate one, they appoint, there's a new one is appointed. So they never go away. Yeah. So all right. So like I said, I'll get this finished up by Thursday. It'll probably get published on Thursday. But you've seen the early bits. While I have it here, let me just do the standard things that I normally do. Let's see. I have to think about what we're going to use for a suggested template. Because the answer to this is going to be, it depends on what your thing is. This could end up being a person. It could end up being an organization. It could end up being a geography. It could end up being a natural law. It could end up being any of a number of things, depending on what you choose. So that again, that'll be a place where I can help make that clear in the suggested template sidebar bit. But the rules stay the same, and the other thing that I can do now is the submission guidelines, just to make sure these things are all in the article. So that's there. I've stolen what I can steal. Okay. So that takes care of that. Now, who is up? Toblin is live. Good. Okay. Okay, so let's see. DM is going to shift over to the Dungeon Frog stream now. Thanks for the stream. Thank you very much for being here. I'm just thinking, Isaac, just thinking whether to go for the country, the city, or the church in the city. Yes, it is definitely a very versatile prompt. Template-wise, it all depends on what you want to be your bad guy, or your bad thing, or your conflict point. So like I said, it's time to start. The basics should all kind of be down. You know what your world looks like. You know what your natural laws are, and you know what your cultures look like. Now it's time to start thinking about what it is that drives those cultures. And the first thing that drives the culture is conflict. So, Dazzly Cat, you're getting so far behind. No, again, you're not behind. You're working at your own pace. We've talked about this. Mikara, you're exactly right. You're only behind by the time I invade and bomb you. No, we were talking about this a little bit even in Kahuna stream last night. Synergasy is not a competition. All right, there's no race to be first. We're not giving out any prizes for the prompts. All right, Synergasy is designed to be a place where you can relax and write at your own pace. We were talking to some people last night. As a suggestion, use this as when you're working on your real world or your main project. Use Synergasia as the place where you can kind of run off to do a little reset, especially if you're stuck, on doing whatever it is you're doing in your real world. A good way to unstick yourself might be to come over to Synergasia and do a little catch-up work there. There's no time limits. You're not going to get dropped because you haven't completed prompt 3 by Christmas or whatever. The region is there. It's your private world, your private little mini world, and it gets developed as fast as you want it to get developed. And that said, too, again, don't forget some of these prompts. I mean, the ones we've hit so far have been pretty basic, but we're going to start getting into some prompts that might not apply to your world at all. And if that's the case, do not in the least feel like you have to make something up just to answer the prompt. Daz, for example, you have the undersea world. If I were to come up with the prompt, describe the largest bird of prey in your world, you could either decide to invent killer penguins, or you could say, I don't have birds in my world. All right, and that's it. That's up to you. So again, nobody should be stressing over Synergasia. That is antithetical to the purpose of Synergasia. Do not stress because you're behind or you have more work to do or whatever. I mean, the prompts will always be there. All right, they don't disappear after a month or 2 months or whatever. Well, some of them disappear after a day, but they come back. So that's all that, and with that, I think it is time for us to swap over. Dazzly Cat, you're currently working on your humans in the only sliver of continent. Yeah, we gave you a sliver of continent. I think you have a few little islands too. We figured you needed a little bit of main coastline. So we actually redrew that to include just that little sliver of coast. So, anyway, that's going to be it for today. Let me jump over to my thanks for watching screen, rather, I should say. Um, Next stream will be on Thursday. Thursday is Adventure Day. I will almost certainly be working on scripting some of my adventure stuff in, because I'm way behind on that. And I have a few sessions coming up that I need to get prepped for. So I definitely won't have the same problem I had today, which is what should I work on? Until then, again, thank you everybody for coming. Before we go, everybody jump into your channel points, and if you don't already have the raid icon, you could use your channel points to buy it. Our raid shout is evolve, just like it says on my on the House Sauropoda stream, and we will be raiding CD10 Tomlin. So if everybody is ready, again, thank you all. Have a good rest of the day and a good next day or two. And that'll be it in now. Enjoy.